All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're tackling a massive question, one that probably affects you every single day. What is actually happening inside your brain when you use an AI assistant like ChatGPT? I mean, let's be real. We all use these tools. They're everywhere, and they feel like a superpower, helping us write, code, you name it. But there's this other side to it, a flip side we don't really talk about. What's the price our brains are paying for all this incredible convenience? Well, to get some real answers, a team of researchers over at MIT decided to find out. They put together this amazing experiment to literally peek inside our heads while we work with AI and see what's changing on a neurological level. So, what was the task? Writing an essay. And that's actually a perfect choice, because writing an essay isn't simple, right? It's a heavy lift. It makes your brain juggle everything: planning, memory, creativity, language, all at the same time. It is a serious mental workout. So, how did they actually set this up to figure out what AI was doing? Well, they created what you could call a cognitive showdown, pitting three totally different ways of writing against each other. Okay, so they took 54 people and split them into three teams. First, you had Team ChatGPT. They could only use the AI for help. Then there was Team Search Engine, who got to use Google, but with all the AI results turned off. And finally, you had the control group, Team Brain Only. They had absolutely nothing but their own wits to rely on. And they all had the same 20-minute deadline. Okay, now this is where it gets really, really interesting. The researchers didn't just grade the essays at the end. No, they were looking directly into the participants' brains while they were writing. They used these EEG caps, the ones that measure electrical activity, to map out what was firing in the brain in real time. And the big question was, would the brain of someone using ChatGPT look any different from someone just using Google or someone using nothing at all? The answer was, oh yeah, a massive yes. Just take a look at these scans. This is the visual proof right here. Over on the right, that's the brain-only group. See how it's just lit up with all that red and orange? That means there's a ton of high-level connections happening all across the brain. Now look to the left at the LLM, or ChatGPT group. It's a sea of blue and green. That means way, way lower connectivity. The brain is literally doing less work. So the takeaway here is crystal clear. The more help the person had from an outside tool, the less their own brain actually engaged in the task. The brain-only group was a storm of neural activity. The search engine group was kind of in the middle, and the ChatGPT group, their brains were the quietest of all. Scientists actually have a name for this. It's called cognitive offloading. It's the exact same reason you don't have phone numbers memorized anymore, right? Your phone does it for you. In this case, the participants were offloading the really hard work, the thinking, the structuring, the writing, onto the AI. But wait, the story does not end with those brain scans. The researchers also wanted to know if this lower brain activity had any real-world consequences, and they decided to look at one thing in particular: our memory. So literally moments after each person finished their essay, the researchers hit them with a super simple but very telling test. They just asked, hey, can you quote back to me, word for word, a single sentence from the essay you just finished writing? And here, you can see the cost just laid bare. Just look at this chart. An absolutely staggering 83% of Team ChatGPT could not recall a single sentence they had just produced. Now compare that to the other two groups, where only about 11% had that problem. It's a huge difference. When you don't do the mental work, the information it doesn't stick. And this memory gap, it also created a psychological one. When they were asked who owned the work, you see Team Brain Only was almost unanimous. That was all me. Full ownership. Team Search Engine also felt a pretty strong sense of ownership. But Team ChatGPT? They were all over the place. Some even said they felt no ownership at all over the essay. Less mental effort led to less of a personal connection to what they created. But the researchers saved their most brilliant move for last. There was a final twist. After doing 3 sessions, they brought some of the people back for a 4th round. And this time, they swapped the rules. Yep, they flipped the script. The folks from Team ChatGPT had their AI taken away and were told to go brain only. And meanwhile, the Team Brain Only veterans were handed the keys to ChatGPT. The huge question was, would their brains just snap back to a baseline, or had using the tool already left a mark? And the results were just fascinating. The former ChatGPT users, now working on their own, actually showed weaker brain connectivity than the original brain-only group. Their brains didn't just reset, they even started using weird, robotic, LLM-style phrases without realizing it. But look at the flip side. The former brain-only people, now using AI, showed more brain engagement than the original AI users. They were using the tool more strategically, kind of like a superpowered search engine, instead of just letting it do all the work. So what this all suggests is that our habits with these tools, they have lasting effects. It's not just about what happens in the moment. It's about the cognitive patterns you're building over time. And for this accumulating effect, the researchers came up with a new term. They're calling it cognitive debt. And the idea is pretty simple. Every time we offload a mental task to an AI, sure, we get that immediate reward of convenience. But we might be borrowing against our own future cognitive skills. And over time, that debt can add up, potentially weakening our own mental muscles for things like learning and critical thinking. So, as we weave these amazing tools deeper and deeper into our work and our lives, this MIT study leaves us with a really vital question to think about. The convenience is absolutely incredible. No one's denying that. But what's the true long-term cost? And is it a price we're willing to pay?